All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to unpack the political map of India, a country that's just defined by its incredible diversity and, honestly, its massive scale. To really get a handle on India today, you've got to understand its map, how it's all put together.
And the very first thing you need to wrap your head around is the size. We're talking 3.28 million square kilometers. That's a huge number, so let's try to put that into perspective.
So yeah, that massive number brings us to our first big idea, really understanding the scale of this subcontinent. And probably the best way to do that is to look at the actual dimensions.
Just look at this. If you go from Ladakh, way up in the Himalayas in the north, all the way down to the southernmost tip at Kanyakumari, you're covering about 3,200 kilometers. That's roughly the same as driving from London all the way to Moscow.
And it's not just long, it's incredibly wide too. From Arunachal Pradesh in the far, far east to the Kutch region out west, you're looking at a span of about 2,900 kilometers.
Now, what does that incredible width actually mean in the real world? Well, this is where it gets super interesting. Because India is so wide, there's a full 2-hour time difference in the sunrise between the east and the west. Seriously, the sun is already well up in one part of the country, while folks in another part are still in the dark.
So you might be asking, how on earth do you keep a country that huge running on the same clock? Well, you pick a line right down the middle. This is the standard meridian of India. It's a single line of longitude that's used to set one uniform time for everyone. It's a really practical solution, even though, it does spark some interesting debates about whether the eastern states should maybe have their own time zone.
Okay, so we've got a sense of the internal scale. Let's zoom out now and see how India fits into the world by looking at its natural borders and, of course, its neighbors. And you can see right away how geography just defines this country. I mean, India is hugged by some absolutely epic natural frontiers. You've got the towering Himalayas in the north, and then it's surrounded by massive bodies of water on the other three sides: the Arabian Sea, the Bay of Bengal, and the Indian Ocean.
And beyond those natural barriers, India shares land borders with 7 different countries. So up in the northwest, you've got Pakistan and Afghanistan. Along that huge Himalayan range to the north, there's China, Nepal, and Bhutan. And then over to the east, you have Bangladesh and Myanmar. It's a busy neighborhood.
But hey, the neighborhood doesn't just stop at the coastline. If we look south, across the ocean, we find 2 really important island neighbors, Sri Lanka and the Maldives. And here's a cool little geographical detail for you. That little bit of water separating India from Sri Lanka, it has a name, the Palk Strait. It's a pretty narrow channel, but it's a super significant feature on the map. Okay, so we've covered the massive scale and the external borders. Now let's turn our focus inward and see how this huge country is actually organized. How does it all work? Well, to make it all manageable, the country is primarily divided into 28 states. You can think of them as being kind of like the states in the US or provinces in Canada. Each one has its own government, its own culture, and its own unique identity. And right alongside those states, you've also got 8 union territories. Now, these are a bit different. They're areas that are run directly by the central government out of New Delhi, usually for strategic or historical reasons. This whole 2-part system is really key to understanding how India is governed. So what's the logic behind all these state lines? I mean, how did they decide where to draw them? This part is fascinating. Most of the states were actually created based on the primary language spoken in the region. That means India's internal map isn't just about geography. It's a map of culture and language. Pretty cool, right? All right, to complete our grand tour of the map, there's one last really crucial area we have to cover. We're heading out to sea to look at India's island outposts. So, India has 2 major, but totally different, groups of islands. Over on one side, in the Arabian Sea, you've got the Lakshadweep Islands. And then way over on the other side, out in the Bay of Bengal, are the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Let's quickly break down how different they are. The Lakshadweep Islands, they're beautiful coral islands, pretty close to the coast of Kerala.
But the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, they're much further away, deep in the Bay of Bengal, and they're actually the peaks of a submerged mountain range. Both are absolutely vital parts of India.
So there you have it. From a scale so big it creates a 2-hour sunrise difference, to its epic natural borders and diverse neighbors, and finally, to an internal map drawn by language itself, India's geography tells an incredible story. It's a story of unity across this unbelievably vast and varied landscape. So I guess the only question left is, which piece of this amazing map should we explore in detail next?